You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Good Vach, it is Motzei Shabbos, November 8th. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. This is your weather enthusiast, Simcha Lefton. We have a true rarity that's about to take place here in the Chicago area, especially for the month of November, as the first Arctic front of the season moves through later on this evening. It's a lobe from the polar vortex that heads down south. This vortex is moving a little bit further west than what was originally expected, and this is very good news for the snow lovers. Another thing that's going to be good news for the snow lovers is the placement of the storm system that eventually ends up on the East Coast. We're going to explain how this is all going to be happening in just a second. We head into tonight. The precipitation from the main system moves in. That's associated with the main storm system here in the Midwest. That system will be producing rain to start. Arctic air moves in. The rain changes over to snow as the night progresses, but temperatures remain too warm for any of the snowfall to accumulate. By tomorrow, the Arctic air moves in steadily. Temperature for highs in the 30s. We haven't felt cold like that since last winter or spring. It's been a while since we felt cold like that. Lake water temperatures remain in the lower and the mid 50s, some areas even at 54 degrees. We have Lake Michigan water temperatures in the mid 50s, even 30 to 60 feet down into the lake. Solid, mild temperatures for Lake Michigan water, and this is going to be very significant for what's going to be happening tomorrow night. We head into tomorrow night. The temperatures continue dropping as they normally do with an Arctic front. And here is the part that's a little bit abnormal. So the Arctic front moves through. After a front moves through, the winds become northwest. It blows Arctic air into the region on northwest winds. That's what usually happens. That brings the heaviest lake effect snow usually to northern Indiana. So over here we have the storm system, then sets itself up off on the East Coast. That helps bring northeast winds here into the Chicago area. The northwest winds have more of an easterly component, bringing north and northeast winds, generally north winds. But off the lake, we have enough of the northeast winds riding the entire length of the lake. The contrast in temperatures at the 850 MB level in the atmosphere to the surface water temperatures of the lake is something phenomenal, and in some ways is similar to the Buffalo major snow event back in November of 2022. So this is something very intense, and it's also something that Chicago is going to be impacted by, perhaps even peak intensity here in the Chicago area. We have snow bands, so we'll be moving in. If you look on the different computer models, as advertised on windy.com, we have times where the rain, it shows a wet snow for areas near the lake. That puts us at a 10 to 1 snow to water ratio. But usually in lake effect snow, we have snowfall even going towards 20 to 1, or sometimes even more powdery than that. If we do have a 10 to 1 snow to water ratio, then these models, what they're putting out, it's unbelievable for some, but we have the high resolution computer model showing that the West Rogers Park area would be seeing 7 inches of snow, a little bit more than 7 inches, and another high resolution model showing it about 12 inches of snow. That's if we have a 10 to 1 snow to water ratio. Originally, some people are thinking that we have a 20 to 1 snow to water ratio because it's lake effect snow. So you would double those amounts. You'd end up with 14 to 32 inches. But the thing over here is that because of the warm lake water temperatures, they're so warm, even though the Arctic air is so cold, still the snow will probably likely end up being a wetter snow, making a 10 to 1 snow to water ratio as a good possibility. So we'll keep it at 7 to 12 inches for here in the West Rogers Park, Chicago Chicago area. The snowfall amounts like that sound very high. You also have to realize that the lake effect snow is localized, so we're going to have spots of only getting 2 inches. There's language that was something phenomenal. If you go back to Friday and you read the National Weather Service forecast discussion, they used the term, some of you might not believe this, but they used a term called challah bread. Some people refer to it as challah bread. They call it braided challah bread. Braided challah. That's the real term is challah. It's a Hebrew term. That's the real term. It's in the English, it's spelled for an American. People pronounce it challah, but the real term is challah, and it's just a big shakaru to see that in National Weather Service forecast discussion. But that's going to be the complexity of figuring out where these heavy snow bands are going to set up. It's like a braided challah, so the bands are going to go kind of like swish swash back and forth. So the exact areas that are going to get hit with the heaviest snowfall would be, in a 10 to 1 snow to water ratio, would be 7 to 12 inches. That's for West Rogers Park, but we have downtown Chicago, some areas, some models putting it at 16 inches. So that doesn't, the models might be off regarding the exact placement of the snow. Regarding the water equivalent of it, they also could be off. I looked at the high-resolution models. If you look at the global models, you're going to see a drastic drop in these snow totals. Right now, the National Weather Service is just using a more vague language, a more vague lashon. We have a winter storm watch in effect for Cook County. That includes the Chicago area. Highest snow amounts actually for a part of the storm will be in the southern areas and the southeast portions of the county. Southwest a tip of Lake Michigan, that's here West Rogers Park, will be getting hit, possibly peak intensity. We have the snow comes in tomorrow night. You look at the various computer models, there's consistency between the two models of having the lake effect snow arrive here at midnight. It's something very impressive. You see, weather always goes from west to east, but certain things don't. So you have the west to east weather system. I was looking at the computer model with my kids this evening, and you see the whole storm system moving from west to east. The precipitation tonight starts off as rain, and it eventually changes to snow. But then the snow starts to move backwards. That's the lake effect snow, and that's the real heavy stuff, and the contrast in temperatures cannot be more intense. There are meteorologists right now in the National Weather Service who said they've never seen something so impressive in all their life. When you have to look at the contrast in temperatures between the surface temperatures in what they are 850 MB up in the atmosphere, 5,000 feet up into the atmosphere. You look at those temperatures, the contrast in those temperatures, 25 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe even more than that. That's going to be produced. That's why heavy snow, water spouts expected, thunder snow also expected. Thunderstorms will set itself up over the lake. That's what happens in these types of situations. When you see, this is November. Chicago doesn't usually get lake effect snow, even in January. We've had a few events where we've gotten it, but usually we get lake enhancement from storm systems, but the lake effect snow tends to go to places like South Bend, Indiana, portions of Northwest Indiana. But this time it's not only we're getting lake effect, we're getting it in November. The other thing is that even during times where we get lake effect precipitation in November, it's always rain. This time it's snow because it's a brutal Arctic air mass, and the timing is just perfect. The National Weather Service tells us not only will travel become difficult, they're saying the possibility exists for travel to become absolutely impossible. Monday morning, peak intensity will be up to 10 a.m. After that, things are expected to calm down. This is not a organized system, but it is powerful enough to be producing miniature storm systems around the area, pushing this thing well west of the lake, well further west than usual. Places like the Brookfield Zoo, You look on those types of models, you'll see just an inch or two perhaps for tomorrow night. But, the mere fact that the Brookfield Zoo is getting any type of snow from lake effect is pretty impressive. But just an inch or two, but when you head over to, West Rogers Park, East Rogers Park, Evanston, downtown Chicago, those are the places right now which look to be getting very significant snow. The National Weather Service's terminology right now, the official forecast is from 2 to 8 inches. 2 to 8 inches for tomorrow night. That's the official forecast, from 2 to 8 inches. And you look at the high resolution computer models, the two of them that are advertised on windy.com, one of them is consistent with that forecast of 2 to 8 inches. The other one shows higher amounts in some localized area, including the West Rogers Park area. That one shows perhaps double that amount. Like, for real, there might be areas that will be receiving double. Some areas might get double 2 to 8 inches. Whatever 2 to 8 inches is, there's the possibility of 4 to 16 inches falling tomorrow night. This is just something I'm saying just from looking at the windy.com high resolution computer models. The reason we're looking at the high resolution models and not the global models is because the global models are accurate, and even most accurate when it comes to organized storm systems. But when it comes to localized events, such as lake effect snow, the high resolution models are most accurate. The ones I looked at were the North American Mesoscale and the high resolution rapid refresh. When you go back to the Buffalo, I focused on the high resolution rapid refresh because when you go back to the Buffalo system, to me, there's a resemblance between this and the Buffalo storm, which produced feet of snow. It was the high resolution rapid refresh, which whatever that was being forecasted on windy.com, that's what matched what the National Weather Service was forecasting back then. I believe the high resolution rapid refresh is forecasting around 7 inches, and it's the North American Mesoscale that has significantly higher amounts. So we'll put it at pretty close to 8 inches for areas near the lake. And when you head out to the Brookfield Zoo, places like that, amounts closer to 2 inches. But realize there is the possibility of areas near the lake receiving double of whatever is currently being forecasted. This is that's the story. Water spouts, gusty winds. We'll see what happens because it is not an organized storm system. After that, we're going to see some significant melting. I believe there's another system moving in midweek with additional possible snowfall. But this is not winter set in stone. We do have warm-ups on the way. We're only holding in November. But we will be waking up. This is an Arctic air mass, powerful winds, Monday morning with wind chills in the teens. That's the current forecast here in the Chicago area. It's the first snowflakes of the season fall tonight. The first accumulating snow falls tomorrow night. On average, the Chicago area receives its first snowflakes October 31st, and it receives its first inch of snow on November 16th. That's on average. This year, the question is, the official reporting station is at O'Hare Airport, which I believe is in Rosemont, Illinois. It's not exactly Chicago. So the question is, how much will the official reporting station how much will that place receive? So, they're not going to get the full intensity that we're getting here by the lake. So that's one of the question marks over here. Anyways, I wish everybody a wonderful night. For those of you that enjoy the snow, it's going to be a lot of fun. And so realize that white, everything is covered in snow. When you have a storm like this, everything's covered. There's no distractions of people's. You don't notice there's this house, that car, that. Everything's white. There's a lot of kindness that goes on. A lot of you're shoveling, they're helping you shovel. A car gets stuck in the snow, that someone comes out to help you. It's a whole different world. Relationships are built in snow. It's like a moment of stepping into a new world. If you take advantage of it, a person could become almost like a new person from just one snowstorm. You could make new relationships. Everything could become different. And just, even one friend makes the world a difference. So just one storm, that's really all it takes. We might be zaycha, we might merit to have that Sunday night into Monday morning, and the worst of it is expected to be finished by 10 a.m. Monday morning. I wish everybody a wonderful week. Thank you for listening, and have a great night. We'll just go over some of the songs that were played in the background. We heard Borrow from Blue Dot Sessions. We also had the Atlantic tune Calm from in the background. That's from the Podcast Maker app. We had Journey Through the Desert, that's Traceway. We had Glass Beads from Blue Dot Sessions. And we currently have Trans-Siberian Express from LUELLAGREN. And